We didn't have any time. Today was the only free day on the schedule, so we've had to wing it. And on a big day such as this, at that. But things are going well. The train had a smooth start, and I felt no vibrations during acceleration. Limit 50. Limit 50. Check. Not good. If you don't view the speed limit sign yourself, what meaning is there for you to just parrot that back to me? Oh, sorry. I was just nervous. There's no need to be nervous. What you must do now is just look out the fronts. Okay. Not being used to the driver's stand of Kia 07, she's now not the engineer, nor the engineer assistant, but the driver. She only needs to follow Hachiroku's instructions, but Hibiki is obviously nervous, and I don't blame her. Limit release check. Limit release check. Yes, that's it. She fixed it in one shot. I knew Hibiki could do it. She has the careful eye of an artist. As long as she remains calm, she'll never miss any signs. A sound that seems to release all tension. The source of that is Paulette, who's sitting next to me. Relieved? No. In the next instant, her voice becomes tense again. I can't be relieved. Having your guard down is the source of all accidents. Yes. The regular driver is not on duty, and will be stopping at the closed Jutsusen coal mine that normally is passed by. Like me, Paulette must have kept her eyes fixated on the driver's stand. But this isn't good. If she gets this tense right now and loses her concentration during the investigation, it'll all be for naught. I have to find some way to reduce her worries, and... oh, that's right. Paulette, if possible, I'd like for you to show Hibiki an example of how to make the provisional stop at Jutsusen Coal Mine Station. But there's only one chance at practicing. That's a sharp observation. After this provisional scheduled train for the early morning, the next one will be the regular morning commute. As an opportunity to practice, this is actually the one and only chance. I'd like to ask for that too, but... Hibiki's voice sounds off from the driver's stand as she maintains her view out the front. I knew this would happen, but Paulette still has a troubled look. Paulette, please show her how. For this is when Hibiki must learn how. A convinced sigh comes from the driver's stand. In Hibiki's case, it is quicker for her to learn by seeing someone perform whatever it is she is learning. Exactly. Despite knowing each other less than 2 months, Hachiroku has already realized that. Hibiki's ability to learn is most honed when she watches and emulates another. Hibiki having the opportunity to practice with the brake is something that would be nice to have. But what if Reina's slow down with her sleeping comes when Paulette is not there? But if she sees how it's done once, Hibiki's understanding in times of emergencies will be much more profound. Hibiki nods. Although we can only see her back, I know that for sure. By doing so, the regular stops for the commute to Inoi and Ohatio and the provisional stop in the evening to pick us up will become much safer. This is certainly that only time that Hibiki can watch and learn. I understand if that's the case. Paulette quietly stands up and walks over to the driver's stand. First, assume this shift lever is the equivalent of the reversing gear on the steam locomotive. When I look at it again, the driver's stand is very different from that of 8620. I don't even know which one is equivalent of the automatic and independent brake valves. When changing gears, you go below the driver's stand and step on this clutch pedal. Paulette moves her leg and manipulates the shift lever with her right hand. The shift is now in forward. You connect the clutch. If you connect the clutch, it will give it power. Ah, she's in her element. This is what an experienced professional looks like. When Paulette stands, the side view of her face is beautiful in that it's nearly unworldly. She has a commanding presence, but she also leaves a flexible, agile impression. Even if Reina does slow down, just follow Hachiroku-chan's instructions and you'll be fine. Hachiroku nods in a not-so-subtle way. I can see Hibiki's shoulders move as she breathes a sigh of relief. But there is a very low chance that Hibiki-chan, you will have to apply the brakes using your own judgments. That's true. We hadn't considered that at all. There's always a slight possibility that Reina could slow down and Hachiroku could be caught in some accident at the same time. When that happens, do this without hesitation, but also calmly. Oh! She returns the handle, resembling the notch, and cuts the clutch to shift off. She then applies the brake handle. The pressure applied to the brakes will gradually slow down the train, eventually bringing it to a complete stop. Huh? Why? We're not at an open or closed station here. It's an example of what to do in times of emergencies. Hachiroku's tone of voice shows she's impressed to no end. Because we're here, 8620 is not running. That means the entire line belongs to Kia 07 exclusively. Oh! Once you stop, apply the brake with your hand. Paul's hand starts spinning a metal ring that looks like a steering wheel. Now you have safely stopped. Next call for help from Heisei-san or Mukuro-san. Heisei-san refers to Fukuma's grandfather, Seki-san, naturally. He can bring out a gasoline automobile, and Mukuro can probably think of the best way to deal with whatever situation. But what if we're in a spot with no reception? This weather is especially bad. The only spot where you get no reception is near the closed Jitsusen coal mine station. Today the weather's nice and sunny. Through the window, I don't see a single cloud in the sky. There may be some sudden evening showers, but there shouldn't be any major changes in weather cover over just a few hours' time. In other words, if you do an emergency stop near the closed Jitsusen coal mine station, just walk to the station itself. Yes, wait there and meet up with us. When we return, I can drive all the way back to Oito Station. Each and every statement by Paulette unravels her worries. With every nod that Hibiki gives, her expression lightens up, though. Got it. I understand. If there is a serious trouble, just stop. That way you can secure your own safety. That direction is as clear as day. Hibiki, who'd been tense, finally relaxes. That ends my teaching by example. But are you sure you're fine? Yep, yes. Thank you very much. You're welcome. With a light smile, Paulette lets go of the numerous handles. Hibiki then goes to those handles in her place. Her tension's all gone. With just a short lesson, she's able to change Hibiki's mental state and posture. That's amazing. Hibiki can learn this well under a good teacher. The word well describes her perfectly. After confirming Reina's safety check, Hibiki holds up her hand. All aboard! Now then, Nissan, Paulette, good luck. Yes, we're off. Hibiki-chan, remember, safety first. Yes. She sounds off the Typhon and drives away in the Kia CR7 after we get on. Alright then. Considering how much of a railway enthusiast Paulette is, I'd always wondered why she expressed little interest in this closed station. I'd had those doubts for a while, but now that I've seen the station building, I know the reason. And this is the closed Jitsusen coal mine station. If I had to describe it, it's unrefined, or rather, there's nothing here. There's the closed station building, but there's absolutely nothing around. I suppose it was bustling back in the day. Seeing that there's a closed parking lot, it must have functioned as part of the city for a while after the station was closed. The owner of the parking lot was probably some supermarket. After that closed down, the people, the cars, and everything else also left. I don't see any remnants of the closed line. Her blue eyes look at the tracks of the Inouye line and begin scanning for the ground. According to the old map, it seemed to connect with the Inouye line and directly transition to it. How do you look for traces of a closed line? What I like are live railways, so I don't really know. Cloud points at the Inouye main line tracks while saying that. If they were connected, I thought there'd be some traces, but I don't see anything resembling it. Then what if they weren't connected? In that case, there would be some space and facilities where they could load and unload freight in containers. I don't see any facilities of the sort, but there's more than enough space for that. There's also so much space around here that I don't even know where to start. There's also some traces of the tracks themselves. I think the thing that has the highest chance of surviving is probably the blast. The blast. If we don't see it nearby, then we'll have to do some legwork. According to the ones who hiked around here, it should be nearby. We should check out the ruins of the dormitories first. It's something that's used in large quantities. It should be difficult to completely remove them. Yes, the rails and the cross ties are highly valued because they can be repurposed. Cross ties? Rails are made of iron. Of course they're valued. They can be reused. How were the cross ties reused? They're made of lumber, which gets dirty easily. It's used for decorative purposes in gardening, I hear. Gardening. Not something I'm interested in, but I at least know what they look like, and yet I still can't imagine it. So they want to set up tracks in their garden? There are some people like that. They'd set up some mini locomotives to run through their garden. That's amazing. It's a different sort of awesomeness from Maitetsu. They make the train cars, stations, and tracks all by themselves. I see. So that's why they use so many cross ties. I feel convinced, but Paul shakes her head. Oh, that seems probable, but that's not it. It's cross ties for a traditional garden. What? I mean, the cross ties for the garden building. They'd use them for flooring or wooden decks and fences. Oh, I see. I did imagine that. Imagine cross ties lined up in an orderly fashion, used in place of pavement in a grassy garden. The rows of cross ties are buried at varying depths in order to make a fence of dead wood. That does create a nice atmosphere. Yes, I dream of it sometimes. Oh, you're interested in gardening, Paulette? Oh, not the gardening parts. Hey! What's wrong? Ugh! Above the curvy slope, it appears suddenly. So this is what everyone was talking about. The ghost town. The town swallowed by the forest. This is amazing. It makes me realize how truly powerful plants and nature are. Even when humanity builds a grand civilization, nature can just wait patiently for the right time to fight back and win. This must have been the dormitories. There were so many people working in the coal mines that they needed a bunch of housing. Yes. I see, that's it. This past, these remnants, they're the reflection of Otio's future. Even after such glory with the decrease in demand for coal, it's turned into a deserted wasteland. It's not impossible for this to happen to the Aircraft either. True. Before aircraft, people used trains and gas engine automobiles to get around. But now both of those things are struggling to stay relevant. Once a superior travel method to aircraft comes along, aircraft will slowly disappear as well. Though that could be anywhere from 10 to 1,000 years from now. As long as humans continue to make technological advancements, the day will come when aircraft is irrelevant as well. For the people who have lived in Otio how long, they should know this scenery, so why? Why would they agree to bringing the aircraft factory? She cuts herself off midway through her sentence, but I answer her question just the same. The scale's too big. It doesn't feel real. They can't see that this scenery is an extension of their daily lives. Huh? It might be a stupid play on words, but to Hibiki, this scenery is like a painting. Oh. Actually, it's not just Hibiki now. It's not just Hibiki now that I think about it. I guess I was just so overwhelmed that I didn't connect the parallel until you mentioned it. I see. That's why everyone... When the message gets across to her, it leads to a new understanding for Paulette. I knew it. Paulette's a natural politician. But even so, her talents and intuition aren't currently being utilized to the fullest extent in governance or with the railways. Her understanding and ability to see what's in front of her is without question, and yet when it comes to the unknown, she struggles. That said, the way Paulette sees things is different from everyone else. That may be her innate ability as a leader. Hibiki saw this scenery as something beautiful. Paulette, you saw this as a lesson to be learned. They both physically saw the same thing, and at the same location, but ultimately saw very different things in it. A person sees that which they're most adept at. That lesson may be difficult for someone to find. Your innate ability let you understand that. Even so, an ominous glint shines deep inside her blue eyes. I think that's the first time I've seen such a thing from her. As if to melt all that away, Paulette faces the sky. If no one listens to the lessons that I have learned... If they don't listen, that means there's a problem in how you give the message. We can fix that together, though. As if being struck by lightning, Paulette's eyes widen. She turns bright red and then stares at me. Back in the day, Hibiki's paintings taught me that red is red. When I describe my experience to her, Paulette starts nodding. This is directly linked to the aircraft factory. I don't know if Hibiki will lend us her support, but... I can work hard, because you're with me. I'll make amends to how I convey my message, then. Yes. Even without the full support of Hibiki, Makurani, Nagi, and Fukumai are there for us. If we can move Hibiki's heart with our message, I'm sure it can move everyone else. So let's start with what we can do. You brought your camera today, right? Yes, I thought I might need it to make a record of things. If it's not too much trouble, I have one for you too. Oh. I hadn't considered I'd be taking pictures, but I made a decision to help her, so that's what I'll do. I have no experience with it, so it'd be great if it's simple. Leave it to me. My daddy was an enthusiast. Pilot holds up a bag and takes out 2 cameras. One of them is a single lens reflex camera. That's what they call it, right? It looks heavy and has a bunch of levers and buttons. I see. This smaller one looks much simpler. Yes, it'll do everything automatically. First turn it on. Pot stands next to me as the camera's rear display shows us. Her face is close to mine, another inch and her cheeks are bound to touch. What you see on the screen will become the picture. You can use this lever to zoom in or widen the shots. When she talks, Paulette routinely and diligently turns to me first. Her breath is warm, on, and ticklish to my skin. Once you've decided what you want to take a picture of, press the shutter button and... That's it? Yes, the card can record thousands of photos, so don't worry about taking bad pictures. Understood. I take the camera from Paulette. Our fingers touch. They're warmer than her breath. Can I try taking a picture? Don't take just one, take hundreds. I only want to try it out. Try out one. I position the camera in the monitor. Paulette's expression hardens out of surprise. Huh? You want to take my picture? May I? I thought it's better to take a picture of a clear object. No, please wait 30 seconds. She turns around, crouching down. She takes out some makeup from her bag and starts brushing her face and hair. More than 5 minutes pass. Even I'm not uncouth enough to hurry her in this situation, though. Thank you for waiting. Uh-huh. All of a sudden. How do you look at the photos I took? This button. Pod presses the button with her fingers, and the display shows the photo just taken. Wow. Oh, this is amazing. It may be small, but it's a good camera. It gracefully took a snapshot of a moving object. This is what they call head-turning beauty. It looks so lively and adorable. Maybe I was too candid with what I was thinking. Pod turns bright red and looks down. Setsu-kun, you might have talent with photos, because you know you're Hibiki-chan's brother. That's true, but we're not related. Seeing as we're not blood related, it's hard to imagine we're good at the same thing. I just think the model and camera are good, that's all. Still with her head down, her lips quiver. My heart jumps a little, thinking I made her angry, but I figure that it's her trying to hold back a smile. I'm going to go take some pictures. Sure. Pod runs off to who knows where. I should do the same. I just learned how to use this. And she said not to be afraid of taking bad pictures. Either way, it's a numbers game now. This is somewhat desolate. When I zoom in, even the blank spots look colorful. Broken glass, curtains that were left behind. The eroded wooden range shutters have ivy growing on them. There are no faces to take pictures of. I sense no warmth coming from beyond the window. This abandoned dormitory was home to many different people. Now it's merely relegated to acting as a giant tombstone of sorts. Setsu-kun, I found it! Huh? Ooh, tracks. When I run over to her, my question of what exactly it is that she found seems foolish. Pod points at the ground where there is obviously a path made by ballast and cross ties. So this is the abandoned track. The condition is very good, and it leads to... See, look at this. That's the coal mine factory. In a gentle upward slope, there's a hill, or more like a small mountain, with a factory sitting atop it. It overlooks the entire region, making it seem like a fort for the coal industry. If we follow the abandoned tracks, they'll likely lead us right into the factory. I take a few pictures of the tracks before standing atop of them. The cross ties are far from eroded. As it supports my weight, it feels sturdy. So then let's go. Yes. Pod stops as she mindlessly follows the abandoned tracks. We've walked all the way here, but... the tracks continue on. Yes. The tracks just keep going. The condition's so good that I want to say they're still usable. I'm assuming the tracks go all the way inside of the mines? There could still be trolleys in there, since the tracks over here are in much better condition than I'd originally thought. Then, would reviving the line be possible? If it's in this state, we could easily do it while minimizing costs, except... Her blue eyes turn from the tracks to me. Except only if this place still has value worthy of that investment. It wouldn't be too far-fetched to call the scene around the tracks a complete mess. Deep inside the prefab buildings are what look like concrete blocks holding up the mountainside. Below that must be the entrance to the mines. I can't see it from here. Pod's peering through some kind of camera with long dual lenses. She's using an expensive-looking telescope to survey the mountainside. Oh, what's that? It looks like a door. Hey, Paulette. No! Yeah! I run over and pull her back by her arm, causing her to fall on top of me. Oh. I don't know why I voiced that sound. The feeling of impact hits my chest and a sharp pain pierces my back. But that's fine, I prevented the worst case scenario for falling into the pond. Oh, Sadetsu-kun? I'm fine. What about you, Paulette? I'm okay. Thank you for saving me. It's nothing. That's why I'm here. Once the pain in my back subsides, it's fine. I don't feel short of breath or anything. Whoops. I let go of Paulette so that she can get back up. She grabs my hand and helps me off the ground. I'm fine. She walks forward a few paces without thinking as she tries to see what's beyond the lenses. I'm used to dealing with accidents like this. Don't worry about it. If your eyes are that good, there's nothing we can't find. A relieved sigh. But then Paulette quickly fixes her posture and turns straight toward me. Let my guard down because you were here for me, Sadetsu-kun. Not only should I thank you, but I should apologize while I'm at it. Yes. She bows deeply. Her apology feels unnecessary, but if that's Paulette's propriety, then I'll accept it. You really saved me. If I'd have fallen into that pond... I can't tell if the water's brown or green or both. Not exactly a pretty sight regardless. Paulette peers into the surface of the pond and starts shivering. That would have been pretty terrible. The color is a result of the sediments on the floor. Because the water itself is clear, it makes it all the more ominous. This is probably a pond they used to screen the coal. Screen? Yes, they probably used it to separate the coal from the coal refuse and dust. So, the things at the bottom are coal dust among other things? Most likely. When I heard about the aircraft factory being built here, I studied pollution a little. Pot had already done what I did. This small fact makes me happy, as well as reassured. It's not just industrial exhaust, there's also water that springs from the mines. All those can cause environmental pollution. Yes, when you think of it that way, having this pond exposed to the elements is actually rather dangerous. I think so too. If there's a downpour or typhoon, it could get mixed with everything. Yes. No matter how we decide to end up reusing this place, well, even before that, we can't leave pollutants as is. We'll also have to consider that stance during our investigation of the coal mines. Agreed. This time Paulette plants her feet on the ground prior to taking a few photographs. Let's go there, Maitetsu. Yes. Just as I thought, below the concrete wall is a large shutter. And next to that is a tiny door. Fortunately, it isn't locked. Let's go inside. Do you have your headlight on? Yes, I'm fine, Maitetsu. Wow. This is... Did they just leave all their equipment and facilities behind? Inside the tunnel is a much more modern site. Electrical lines and council's pipes go about, and there's also something large rolled up in a cloth. Huh. What's that? Is it soaked in oil? Damn, it's sticky. Wow, this is amazing. Underneath the oily sheet is a large construction machine. One after another. Below that is a switchboard without a single speck of rust. Could it be because it wasn't used elsewhere? Coal mines all over the country were being closed. Ah, I see. If the industry of coal mining is going away, it would be impossible to sell off this equipment. I didn't imagine that an operation this big could come to an end. Sensing that I touched the tip of it causes me to shiver. But if this much of the equipment's still here, if the facility is still alive, yes, we can turn it into a tourism asset. It's the same with the abandoned dormitories, but this scenery has a powerful impact. If we can bring out this charm of coal mining from this? Nah, that's right. For example, Paulette. Yes, what is it, Maitetsu? Let's say that we have 8620 come all the way here, or to the abandoned Jutsu coal mine station. Then we could mine for coal here as part of a workshop. Oh! She understands instantly. Paulette's face lights up with a smile brighter than her headlights. That's interesting. You'd be able to move the steam locomotive with the coal you dig. Yeah, it almost feels romantic in a way. It'd be fun for people who don't particularly like the railway. Yes, but if you're serious about investigating and rebuilding the coal mine, Bajo Railway can't do it alone. Ah, so there are budget concerns. Yes, that's why we need one more push to turn it into a business for the city. Achoo! Are you okay, Paulette? Don't I hear the sneeze, and I feel a slight shiver as well. The temperature in the mine is quite cool. On top of that, water's dripping everywhere. Well, let's go outside for now. Oh, yes, Maitetsu. Sorry about that. I would take Paulette somewhere sunny, so we go back near the sedimentation pond. Whatever it's used for, we have to do something about the water. Yes, the ground is muddy and the water keeps dripping from the ceiling. Are you okay? You seem to have gotten wet. Oh yes, it did feel a little chilly in the coal mine. Paulette suddenly hugs herself with both arms and hides by twisting her body away from me. It takes me a second, but I realize why she did that. Because she got wet, her clothes are damp and transparent. I already saw Paulette's skin when we were at Toru Hot Springs. I see the lines of her bra as her clothes stick to her back. I have to wonder what there is to be embarrassed about. But when she acts embarrassed like that, it makes me feel the same. Paulette, here. My shirt is a little wet too. I take it off, wring it dry, and then flap it in the wind. If you don't mind, you can use this to cover yourself. There's no way I would mind. She takes it and wears it on her back. At that moment, Paulette closes her eyes as if comforted. It feels warm. It's like I can smell your scent, Tetsu-kun. Really? Well, as long as you feel warmer, that's good. Considering the temperature and sunshine, I'm sure it'll warm up soon. By then, Paulette's clothes should be dry. Even with 2 layers, I can still see through. Oh, can we? Perhaps because her eyes are closed, Paulette doesn't notice? But I can faintly see the light pink color of her bra. So Tetsu-kun? Well, you know. It's not my intention, but I steal a few glances anyway. Of course you do, Tetsu-kun. I keep talking, though in an effort to mitigate the resulting feelings of embarrassment. I was just thinking about the water and the environmental pollution. Ah, that's right. There are also the dangers of cave-ins and explosions. Correct. Paulette's expression becomes one of seriousness. Feeling relieved at the change in atmosphere, words come out of my mouth more smoothly. It'd be good if we could turn it into an asset, but if we can't, this place would end up a headache for Hotoyo. That's not true, Tetsu-kun. Huh? Very quietly, but firmly, Paulette stops me. The mountains, water, and coal don't cause trouble. They've always been here and just exist. My heart jumps. Much more harshly and much more passionately than when I saw through her clothes. They caused issues only after they were dug up and left around. That is not the fault of the coal mine, though. That's right. The responsibility lies with the ones who did it. The flash of a distant memory causes my voice to quiver. The ones at fault are always people. Yes. Paulette gives a faint smile, knowing that her message got through to me. Her smile also resembles something from long ago. A smile that sits deep inside my memory. How to find out? How to ask? My jumping heart yearns for it. But right now, my mind's in a state of confusion. It's in no state to ask such an important question. Anyway. Yes? That's why I bring out the following. I express all of my emotions as the words slip out. Anyway, let's bring this back for now. Yes, we'll need more ideas on how to go about doing this in a way that protects environments. Yes. Paulette takes a step ahead, but then turns around to face me. Let's head back, Tetsu-kun. Okay, well that's interesting. The mind thing. Interesting. Very interesting. Not sure if that'll end up working out. Seems like quite an investment, but we'll see.